Remington Steel, and I'm back after a very long gap between my last video and this one. But I've not gone away. I've been appearing on the Andy and Rem show, which is a great AOS discussion and topical chat show every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. GMT. And myself and Andy 2D6 chat shit about AOS, Age of Sigmar, and all things Warhammer. So if you want a guaranteed great show featuring all the new Age of Sigmar chat and discussions and predictions and whatnot, that's the one. But I'm doing this battle report now because I was lucky enough to go to Warhammer World and meet with my old friend Mr. Reef. Mr. Reef Beastman. He's out of retirement and he's back in big time in Age of Sigmar, and he brought along his newly painted Stormcast Eternal army, which basically consists of the starter box plus a Lord Castellant with a Griffhound. And he's up against my mighty Ogre force, and you can see here as you're looking at this wonderful Age of Sigmar special edition gaming table that they've made at Warhammer World. It's just full of wonderful scenery and imagination and wonderful colours, and we're having a game here, and basically we're both set up in an L-shaped configuration, so you can see my forces there and there set up, and Reef's forces are set up there and there. Now in the middle of the table, around just this point, we've got 6 dice points. Now these represent geezers, which every turn we roll a d6, and the corresponding dice number means that that geezer will blow up, and anything within 6 inches around it suffers d6 mortal wounds. And every turn an extra geezer goes off, so in say turn 3 geezers will go off, so you kind of want to avoid that middle part of the table as best as you can. However, the object of the game is to occupy one of the Nimbus Oculums by turn 5, and that means having a miniature touch it or be inside it or on top of it, and the side that has the most wounds on that piece of terrain wins. Now there's 2 Nimbus Oculums, and we roll to see which one is the objective, and it just so happened that it's the one on the left hand side is this one here, which needs to be occupied. So I was Reef was up against it, put it that way, because my ogre force was we weren't doing any competitive rulings, we did no comp, so I just laid out a load of models, he laid out a load of models, and afterwards we realised my models were much more plentiful than his, let's put it that way. So what have I got? I've got some up here at the top. I've got some lead belchers, 3 of them, and below them I've got 2 saber tusks. I've got an ogre butcher just here. I've got some Mornfang cavalry just there. Well, that's a nice little feature, isn't it? And I've got Brag the Gutsman. Is this wonderful model down there? And he's a special character because he's really good at butchering enemy characters. Just take a sip of my drink there. And down below here we've got some ogre yetis, and in the corner there you can just see the tusk of a thunder tusk, and yeah, that's my force. I've also got 3 ogres with the big double-handed weapons. The name escapes me right now, but we'll come back to them. And on Reef Beastman's side, on the right, we've got 5 Liberators near this realm gate, and if they go through that realm gate, they'll appear at the realm gate that's on this side of the board, which you can't quite see just yet. And he's got another 5 Liberators there. He's got a Vandus Hammerhand, which is a Stormcast hero on a Dracoth. He's got 3 Retributors there with big double-handed weapons. Off the table, he's got 3 Flying Prosecutors, and he's got a Lord Relictor just there. All right. So there we go. Hopefully you're admiring this board as much as me. Let's go to the next picture. We can see another view. This is the view from Reef's side, and he has to get to that objective over there, and it's going to take him a couple of turns to get there. But the conundrum for Reef is, does he go through the realm gate or does he go across the board? If he goes through the realm gate, there's a 1 in 6 chance his figures will disappear into the warp, and if he walks across the board, there's a fairly good chance that one of the geezers will explode, dishing out a bunch of wounds. Now, I've got lots of wounds in my army, and you might think this is a very unfair matchup, and I'd have to agree with you. And so I'm kind of smiling a lot, but at the same time I'm a bit gutted because, you know, I'm not a cheater. I'm not someone who just likes to just win without any tactical or fun play. So you know, I've put in some Noblars down there as well. Forgot about them. Yeah, can't underestimate those guys. So they're going to be a nice little speed bump to, you know, maybe halt his forces for a turn. So I think Reef got the first go, and he was very daring. He decided to put 5 Liberators through that realm gate, which made them appear right next to my Thunder Tusk. And Reefy didn't quite know all the rules about the Thunder Tusk, but we'll come to that later. Let's go to the next picture. So there they are. Yep, this is sort of before, and they're about to appear on the left of this picture. But it's just a bit more of a close-up there. You can see old Bragg the Gutsman there, looking very happy with the situation. And he's beheaded an ogre that was annoying him, just for fun. So you see my Thunder Tusk up there. It's got something like 12 wounds, and its strength diminishes, or its abilities diminish, after it gets 3 wounds. So the key to stopping this guy is just to start wounding him as soon as possible, because he has an 18-inch missile weapon, which is basically like a frosty breath catapult thing, and it gives you 6 mortal wounds on a unit that you choose. That's before it's wounded. 6 mortal wounds automatically on a roll of 2, or well, you have to roll a d6 and get 2 or more. So it's very likely to happen. Plus, it's got a chain trap missile weapon, and it's got a harpoon, and it's got some tasty close combat rules too. Now, Reefy didn't know about this, so I think he just put his Stormcast through the gate. Ooh. Up there you can see a bit more of a close-up of my lead belchers at the top there, and my saber tusk below. God, look at the scenery. I mean, you know, this game was kind of less about tactics and stuff, and more about just really enjoying plonking our miniatures on this wonderful board. So much attention to detail in every way. There's my butcher down there, and you can see the Noblars have started off very near to one of those geezers, and the geezers were placed kind of randomly. We determined the distance that they would appear with a d6 and a directional dice roll from the middle of the board. And here's a bit more of a close-up of Mr. Reef's wonderful miniatures. That's his Vandus Hammerhand. You've got the Lord Relictor down there, walking around with an open coffin. The Lord Castellant and the Griffhound. And over here, you've got those Retributors. Alright. Yeah. There's Mr. Reef. Looking very pleased with himself. I think he came back with a big bag full of goodies. I gave him the first 2 Stormcast novels, so I finished reading them. So rather than let them gather dust on my shelves, I thought Reefy would like to have them. So perhaps he can, perhaps he'll give me something in the future. Hopefully, it won't be a thick lip after round 1 of this game. So they're the Iron Guts. That's what they're called. I did put 4 out. I actually took 1 off because it was just so unfair. Really, these guys are brutal in combat. They dish out wounds for fun. So that's the view from above. You can just see how wonderful it is to play on such a table, and how very different it is from 8th edition. You couldn't really play an 8th edition game on this board. There's just not enough room for big blocks of units. And this is Warhammer World, is how it looks. It's always slightly different every time I go there. They've got different gaming boards out. It seems that it's very much Age of Sigmar related in this table in front of us, sets of tables. And quite a lot of people were playing Age of Sigmar. In the past, when I've come to Warhammer World, there's only a couple of people playing fantasy, and everyone else plays 40k. But it doesn't look it because of the angle of the photo, but it's actually a pretty busy day. And that's Reef checking out some rules there on his AOS app. And some young'ums in the background playing 40k. They're still, still infantile in the world of wargaming. I think once they mature, they'll come round to the fantasy side of things. And that's yours truly there. Really enjoying having a good time. Remington Steel. And so, okay, let's get back to the game, right? His Liberators go through the realm gate. He doesn't roll a 1, so they're fine. So 5 of them get through, but they can't charge straight away. And so when it came to my go, I just turned a Thunder Tusk round and rolled a d6, didn't roll a 1. So these guys got 6 mortal wounds automatically. So 3 of them are gone, and then they got into combat. So I think Reefy was a bit gutted at this point because he just pretty much lost one of his units straight away. And over here, my Yetis go rushing into combat over there. So they made a charge. These have got movement 9, so they're pretty handy. Should we go for another close-up? Yeah, why not? Ooh. Nice painted models. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so what happened next? You're wondering. Well, everything went forward. The Noblars ran forward. They didn't get very far. I think I rolled a 1. So they only moved 5 inches ahead. The Mornfang Cavalry did a run down the hill as well, and that's how far it took them. So you can see they're all in range of 2 of those geezers. Just I wasn't too worried about that, to be fair. They've got plenty of wounds over there, and let's face it, Reefy, after putting Liberators through the realm gate, he's only got this Lord Castellan and his pathetic doggy Griffhound thing there, so I could afford to just go for it. And the Butcher moved forward a bit. Everyone moved forward a bit. The Saber-Tusks even felt like coming out of their cave. So before all this, you do the hero phase. That's the first phase you do. So because the Butcher's a hero, that's when you do your magic. And an Ogre Butcher has this wonderful spell called the Maw, or the Great Maw, something like that. It's basically like a very hungry mouth that appears and just starts eating enemy units. So you only need a 5 on 2 dice to get it. So he easily got it. And I put the spell onto those 3 Retributors. And this spell's pretty awesome. Basically, you roll a d6 and it does d3 wounds. So after that, you roll another d6, and if you roll a 4, 5, or 6, you get to do another d3 runes, and then you roll and get another 4, 5, 6. You might get another d3 wound. So it goes on like that. If you roll a 1, 2, or 3, then the Maw stops chomping. Just so happened, I rolled 2 chomps in a row, and 2 lots of 3 mortal wounds. So his Retributors disappeared as well. Turn 1. So he's lost 5 Liberators, 3 Retributors, and the Yetis got in combat, and I think they're about to maw through another couple. This guy's he's kind of lost in the woods, really, isn't he? He's in no man's land. If he moves forward, he's going to be in charge range of my models, and also right in the vicinity of those geezers. He does have a special ability where he can heal wounds back off models, which I think he does use at some point. And the Iron Guts there, they turn around to have a look at those 2 remaining Liberators. They're probably just watching the Thunder Tusk just stomp them to death and having a good laugh about it. Yeah, you can see there the Liberators have gone, but they did manage to put 2 wounds on the Thunder Tusk. Sadly, just not quite enough to diminish his abilities. And so the thick of the fighting is down here, where I dispatched with I think 3 Liberators, and his Vandus Hammerhand models comes charging into the fray. I'm not too worried. He's actually near a geezer, but yeah, his Dracoth has got a nice tasty shooting attack, and his hammer actually deals quite a hefty blow if he gets a hit through. And so the game starts hotting up, you might like to say, as I roll an unlucky number 5, and that geezer goes off, promptly destroying 3 Noblars. So his wounds come through on the Yetis there. He kills 1 and puts another 2 wounds on another one. But they'll live to have another round of combat, hopefully. And there you can see the death toll after turn 1. Don't count those flying guys, because Reef is going to put them on at some point during the game. And I tell you, it's lucky I reminded him on turn 4 to do that, because he would have forgotten about them completely. And if it's one thing his army really needed in this game, was some kind of shooting capability. So I think he's going to be painting up some of the Stormcast guys with bows to give him a bit more variation, let's say. So that's a nice photograph there of the battlefield. You can see, if I just zoom into this top bit over here, hopefully it's not too blurry, you can see the Butcher, the Saber Tusk, and the Mournfang Cavalry, and the 2 remaining Noblars are all in vicinity of geezers. And because it's turn 2, we're going to roll 2 lots of geezer attacks. And what happens, you're about to see. Yep, so Vandus promptly dispatches the last Yeti over there. And he's got a couple of Liberators remaining there too. So they can heal back wounds. I think they can bring people back from the dead as long as the unit's still alive. Or they can just heal wounds as long as the model's alive. I'm not quite sure which one. But I think he healed back a couple of wounds or something. Maybe it was Vandus. And the geezers go off, and they wreak a bit of havoc on my army. One of them blows up and does 6 wounds to the Ogre Butcher there. And you can see he's only got 1 remaining wound, because he actually has 7 wounds, which is pretty impressive. It gets 1 wound off the Saber Tusk. They've got 2 wounds each. And it takes 3 or 4 wounds off the Mournfang Cavalry over there. And then the other geezer goes off, annihilates my Butcher, and annihilates one of the Mournfang, and does another 3 wounds off the other one, and kills the 2 Noblars. So I thought that was pretty impressive. I mean, Reef is getting a helping hand from the scenery, which is a great feature of AOS. You may think these armies were completely unbalanced, and you'd be right, But you all got to think of the scenario objective. I mean, if I was a competitive player, I'd probably just load up all of my models onto the objective. But being ogres, I just couldn't resist trying to get into some tasty combats. There we go. So finally, Reef remembers to bring on his prosecutors. They're the flying guys, and they get to throw their celestial hammers at people. And he knew my lead belchers were standing on the rooftop, which you can't see in this picture, but he decided to make them come down out of sight of those guys, so they're not going to get shot off straight away. What's going to go off straight away before it even gets to do any attacks is my Mournfang. I think I might have got to attack, but I fluffed all of them. But Vandus did a long bomb charge and dispatched the final Mournfang cavalry, so you can see him just knocked straight off his saddle there. However, this puts Vandus Hammerhand within range of geezer number 5. And we're about to roll more dice to see what happens with those geezers. They're just exploding with ever greater rapidity. Is that even a word? So his prosecutors fly onto the roof and swarm around Bragg the Gutsman, who's occupying the objective. And yeah, they're swarming around him, and he gets 3 attacks. He's got a pretty good weapon as long as he gets wounds through. He needs a 4 to hit and a 3 to wound. And guess what? I fluffed all my attacks. The prosecutors, I think they took a couple of wounds off him, which comes into play later on in the game. So pretty handy. And right, so I'll just go back here. You can see that Vandus over here is right next to geezer number 6 now. And we rolled for the geezers, and we rolled a 6. And I let Reefy roll to see how many wounds it would suffer, and he rolled another 6. So now Vandus, from being a 7 wound model, is now only got 1 wound left. You can see there that when Reefy puts his markers down, he puts how many wounds it's taken, rather than how many wounds left it has. So he's now down to 1 wound, which is pretty worrying. That's his best model. And you can see here a bit of tactics coming into play now. I turn the Thunder Tusk around. He brings his Lord Relic character down there, around the side of this tree. It's kind of bait, you might say, to get the Thunder Tusk to leave the objective area and attack in that area. And I kind of took the bait there, but at the same time I thought, well look, if I bring my Iron Guts round to near the objective, I can stop Vandus Hammerhand up there, alright, and I can also claim a lot more wounds on this. And I was thinking that Bragg the Gutsman over there would easily dispatch those flying guys. He just needed 1 more round of attacks. So my lead belchers, which you can't see in these pictures, you know, did some nice firing manoeuvres and promptly shot off the last wound off Vandus Hammerhand, so he's out. And the Iron Guts, I think he swung in his turn. He swung his Lord Relics around, bamboozling the Thunder Tusk, and the Thunder Tusk now can't see him through the tree line. I mean, if I was being really gamey, I could have probably used the frost attack thing to just auto wound him, but I just didn't want to be that guy. You can see the lead belchers up there. These are the guys that have just shot off the Dracoth rider. The lead belchers get into combat, and I think I lose a man, and also plant a rusty giant blade straight on this Lord Relictor's head, and slice down and disembowel him, so he's gone. So now Reefy is left with two liberators, which are at the far end of the other side of the table, and 3 prosecutors, and his Celestin, Lord Calistan. Oh, the name escapes me, but you know the one I mean, the one with the Griffhound. So you can see there, I've now suffered 4 wounds on Bragg the Gutsman, and he's making sure he touches the base. I've not managed to wound him back, So he's got 6 wounds and I've got 4 wounds. And this is when the penny drops. Because I think we might even be on turn 5 at this point. And you can see I've abandoned the objective. And he's just got enough wounds there to take the game. How embarrassing is that? I mean, I've actually clutched defeat out of the jaws of victory. So, you know, this is why I don't produce much AOS content, because I don't want to be influencing and giving my bad luck to any of you gamers. And anyone who's seen my gaming exploits on Andy's channel will know that I have pretty awful dice rolling, especially with the Games Workshop Skull dice, which I'm told have 2 sharp edges, so it means they don't kind of roll the 5s and 6s, they kind of get stuck on the 1s and 2s. I keep testing this theory out and it seems to be true. So you can see there, Mr. Reef has actually won this game. He's got his 6 wounds of models on that objective against my 4 wounds of models. Now, if this went another turn, there's no doubt that I would, you know, probably win the game. Getting the Thunder Tusk back in the action there, and also getting the Iron Guts on there. And but actually, I've just completely forgot. I actually put the Thunder Tusk through the Realm Gate over on this side to see if I could frost his Castellant guy. And I think I might have done. I might have just killed his. I might have killed his Griffhound with some kind of shooting attack, because I can't see it on the table anymore. Maybe he's hiding, coward that he is. So there you go. A really, really fun game, and I really hope you enjoyed the pictures. We had a great game, and it only took about an hour and a half. This game, a lot of fun, and I hope to play Reefy again soon. And it was a great pleasure playing with such beautifully painted models on such a special table. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, guys, and God bless and take care. This is Remington Steel. Bye bye.